Hello, I'm CJ Wellerman, and in this episode, we reveal how Israel is losing the West at the same time Islam enjoys an unprecedented surge in popularity throughout the Western world. But first, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our show. Now let's get into it. The criminal Zionist state is being slowly strangled to death by nobody other than itself. And by itself, I mean the grotesque and despicable atrocities it has inflicted upon the innocent Palestinian people. The world has seen enough, and although Western and Arab governments will continue to lend support to the state of Israel, at least for the time being, the people of the world are now solidly united against it. The boycott movement has not only shoved the Israeli economy into freefall, but also has turned the Zionist state into a cultural wasteland. As Israeli artists, musicians and producers complain about being shunned and banned by global audiences. It's now official. Everybody hates Israel. And it's now universally considered a pariah state. And about bloody time, given the Zionist colonial enterprise has brought only suffering, misery and bloodshed to the entire Middle East and beyond. Everywhere you look, Israel has been choked to death from all angles. The International Criminal Court will soon issue arrest warrants for the country's political and military leaders, as Muslim countries starve the profits of Israeli-friendly corporations, and as non-Muslim countries sever all diplomatic ties with the Zionist state. But if you think everything I've just told you is fantastic news, and it most certainly is, then wait. I have even better news to share. And by that I mean new data that proves Islam is booming in the West and at Israel's expense. For instance, conversions to Islam in the United Kingdom have soared 50% since Israel's invasion of Gaza in October of last year. According to the Islamic Society of Britain, which also noted that more than 100,000 UK citizens have converted during the past few decades. And it must also be said that we are seeing the same kind of sudden uptick in Islamic conversions in the United States and Europe, as we and other media outlets have reported recently. Palestinians, through their courage and defiance, are transforming the West before our very eyes. But let's circle back to the UK and recognise just how remarkable this moment is, particularly when you think about every obstacle the racist and viciously Islamophobic British press and UK government have put in front of Muslims since the launch of the War on Terror in the early 2000s. Remembering that Muslim students and teachers were routinely detained and arrested under numerous anti-Islam laws, including Prevent UK, which led to the unlawful detainment of more than 600 Muslim children, some as young as 4 years of age, who were detained for merely playing a popular video game. Then there was the infamous Schedule 7 law, which allowed Muslims to be held at airports or seaports indefinitely and without charge or basic human rights, therefore making overseas travel a potentially perilous journey for any Muslim who raised the suspicion of a racist border official. Needless to say, Muslims in America have fared even worse during these terrible times, as anti-Muslim rhetoric and violence peaked year after year during the Trump presidency. But with all of that said, what I'm about to show you will not only blow your mind, but also illuminate how Israel's barbaric character is changing the way Americans, Europeans and Brits think about Islam and Muslims. What you're watching now is students and faculty members at the University of California, Berkeley, shielding Muslim worshippers from pro-Zionist protesters by linking arms and creating a human chain around them. I mean, how can anyone not love this? This demonstrates we can and will build a better future by coming together, united against oppression and injustice. But it's also important you understand exactly whom these non-Muslim students were protecting their Muslim peers from. They were shielding them from radicalized Zionist Jews who are stalking and hunting Muslims and Arabs in the streets of America today. What kind of hateful ideology creates these monsters? Well, that would be Zionism, an ethno-nationalist ideology that calls for the dispossession and displacement of the indigenous owners of Palestine and the stolen land Israel sits upon today. But the jig is up for Israel. Its days are numbered in years, not decades, because even Jewish Americans are now publicly disavowing and distancing themselves from Zionism and the Jewish state. We have seen Jewish American groups and organizations lead the pro-Palestinian protests that have spread across almost every major university in the United States. And we've seen prominent Jewish Americans such as journalist Peter Beinart and award-winning author Naomi Klein call Israel a, quote, false idol.
At this revolutionary and historic Seder in the streets is that too many of our people are worshiping a false idol once again. They are enraptured by it, they are drunk on it, they are profaned by it, and that false idol is called Zionism. It is a false idol that takes our most profound biblical stories of justice and emancipation from slavery, the story of Passover itself, and turns them into brutalist weapons of colonial land theft, roadmaps for ethnic cleansing and genocide.
Jewish students count among those who have been arrested and brutalized by militarized and Israeli-trained police departments during the ongoing campus protests. They have said their decision to stand for Palestine is motivated by the way in which the Zionist state has perverted their religious faith. This seismic change promises to unleash huge consequences on Israel. The Palestinian liberation movement will continue to grow, and Israel's influence over the West will continue to shrink. In plain speak, the viability and sustainability of Zionism has never looked so rocky and unsure. Remembering that the state of Israel cannot survive without the political and financial cover that comes with the unwavering support from Jewish Americans. Israel's arrogance, hubris, and cruelty has led its leaders to make the same miscalculation Roman Emperor Julius Caesar made when he made his fateful decision to cross the Rubicon. Or put another way, Israel got lazy, dumb, and drunk on its military power, and because of this, along with its diabolical misdeeds, Israel is not only losing the war against Hamas and support from the West, but also it's inadvertently spreading the gospel of Islam to the non-Muslim world. But you wouldn't know any of this if your only source of information was mainstream news. With a new survey finding that Americans who get their news primarily from cable TV are the only people who believe Israel is not committing genocide in Gaza. Those, on the other hand, who get their news primarily from social media and independent news platforms like this show, believe Israel is committing genocide because it's outlets like this that deliver unfiltered truths. This is why we kindly ask that you please consider helping us expose and counter injustices in the Muslim world by supporting my journalism at patreon.com/CJWerleman. We can't produce, sustain, and grow the show without your help, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who do. But for now, good night, good evening, wherever you are, and stay blessed.